You know that sharp, radiating ache right at the base of your thumbs, the deep strain in your wrists when you're trying to pry a heavy, waterlogged plant out of an oversized patio tub. You're wrestling with 20 pounds of compacted, soggy sludge, putting unnecessary torque on your joints, all to save an avocado tree that is wilting, despite being surrounded by moisture. It is a frustrating, physically exhausting chore. And the worst part, that heavy mud trap was likely created by one of the most common pieces of gardening advice out there, putting a small plant into a huge pot to give it room to grow. Today, we are going to look at why that old habit actually suffocates your plants and how to change it so your patio garden works with nature, not against it. By making one very simple, specific adjustment to the way we size our pots and mix our soil, we can create an oxygen-rich environment that strengthens your avocado's natural defenses against root rot. It completely removes the need to ever wrestle with heavy, stagnant soil again. It's a method that is incredibly easy on the hands, completely safe for the pets roaming your yard, and gives your young trees a real fighting chance to thrive. Let's start with the mistake that causes all this trouble in the first place. When we bring a young avocado home in a 1-gallon nursery pot, the instinct is to immediately drop it into a massive 5-gallon patio tub. We think we are doing the plant a favor. We imagine those roots spreading out freely, growing strong and healthy. But here's the reality. Think of your avocado's roots like a toddler wearing shoes. You buy them a size just half an inch bigger so they can walk comfortably today. If you put them in oversized clown shoes, hoping they'll grow into them, they'll just trip, get stuck in the mud, and ruin the shoes entirely. That massive gap of empty soil in a large pot acts exactly like those clown shoes. Now, to understand why this happens, we have to look underground at what's really going on. Plant roots do not just drink water, they actively breathe. They need to exhale carbon dioxide and pull in oxygen. This is not some minor detail. It's absolutely essential to their survival. When you surround a small root ball with 4 to 8 inches of empty potting soil, there are no roots out there to drink up the moisture, so the water just sits there. It displaces all the oxygen, turning the pot into a stagnant, airless void. The roots, along with the beneficial microscopic mycorrhizal fungi that act as their silent bodyguards, are left gasping for air and eventually begin to rot. Those fungi are like tiny underground partners, extending the reach of your avocado's roots, helping them find nutrients and water. But they need oxygen just as much as the roots do. When the soil stays waterlogged, both the roots and their fungal allies suffocate together. This is why a young tree can be surrounded by moisture and still wilt. It's not thirsty, it's drowning. Here is the effortless way to fix this, saving both your plant and your wrists. When you repot your avocado, only go up exactly 1 pot size, no more than a 2-inch increase in diameter. So if your tree is currently in a pot that measures 6 inches across the top, move it to an 8-inch pot. That's it. This leaves a highly manageable 1-inch ring of new soil surrounding the original root ball on all sides. Instead of aggressively breaking up the old dirt and stressing your hands, leave the original root ball completely intact to protect that existing fungal web. Those delicate threads are already established, already working. Don't destroy them. Then, fill that narrow 1-inch gap with a specific, highly porous mix. For every 1 gallon of standard potting soil, which is roughly the volume of a large plastic milk jug, mix in 2 cups of coarse perlite or pumice, about the size of a standard soup bowl. Perlite looks like little white pebbles. It's volcanic glass that's been heated until it pops like popcorn, creating thousands of tiny air pockets. Pumice is similar, a lightweight volcanic rock. Both materials are fantastic at holding structure in the soil, preventing it from compacting into that heavy, airless sludge. They allow water to flow through quickly, while keeping plenty of oxygen available to the roots. Now, a quick note about safety. Perlite is wonderful for soil, but the dry dust can be irritating if inhaled. Always store your unused bags on a high shelf in the shed, rolled tightly shut so curious dogs don't go digging into it. When you're mixing it into your soil, do it outdoors or in a well-ventilated space, and consider giving the perlite a light misting with water first to keep the dust down. This 1-inch breathing corridor creates the perfect balance, holding just enough moisture while allowing rapid oxygen exchange. The roots can gently expand outward at their own pace, foraging for nutrients without ever drowning. But even with the perfect soil structure, there is one invisible environmental factor that can still shut the whole system down. Quick question for you all. Have you ever lost a favorite plant to an oversized pot? Or do you tend to keep them in their nursery containers a little too long? Let me know down in the comments. I'm genuinely curious about your experiences. Now, here's something we always have to remember. A great soil structure adds a vital layer of protection, but it doesn't replace basic care. Avocado trees are tropical natives. They thrive outdoors in USDA zones 9 through 11. That covers places like Southern California, South Florida, and parts of Texas and Arizona. Even the most perfectly aerated, well-draining soil will stay dangerously wet if the plant is left shivering in a cold 50-degree Fahrenheit drafty corner. The tree needs daytime temperatures between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit to actively transpire and efficiently process the moisture in that new pot. Transpiration is the plant's version of breathing and sweating. It pulls water up through the roots, uses it for photosynthesis in the leaves, and then releases moisture into the air. When temperatures drop too low, that whole system slows down dramatically. The plant stops drinking, the soil stays wet, and even with all that beautiful perlite creating air pockets, you're back to square one with waterlogged roots. Good soil gives them a foundation, but the right weather gives them the energy to use it. If you're in a cooler zone, you can still grow avocados, but you'll need to bring them indoors during the cold months, or keep them in a protected south-facing spot where they can soak up as much warmth as possible. So let's bring this all together. That modest 2-inch diameter increase, combined with our soup bowl ratio of perlite, is your ultimate support system. It prevents anaerobic soil collapse and encourages those delicate root networks to gently expand outward, foraging for nutrients without ever drowning. It's a grounded, nature-aligned practice that helps manage moisture problems before they ever start. This isn't some miracle cure. You still need to water appropriately. Make sure your pot has drainage holes and keep an eye on the overall health of your tree. But what this method does is remove one of the biggest, most common causes of failure. It takes that heavy, exhausting wrestling match with waterlogged soil completely off the table. By resisting the urge to overpot, You are no longer setting yourself up for failure. You won't find yourself a year from now, wrists aching and thumbs throbbing, trying to salvage a dying tree from a tub of heavy, soupy mud. Instead, you get to step back and watch your patio garden quietly thrive, knowing you've set up a balanced environment that practically manages itself. Picture yourself on a warm Saturday morning, coffee in hand, walking out to your patio. Your avocado tree is standing tall, its leaves a deep, healthy green, gently rustling in the breeze. You're not worried about root rot. You're not dreading the next repotting session. You've done the work once, done it right, and now you get to simply enjoy the results. That's the peace of mind this approach brings. If you haven't already, drop a comment and let me know your experiences with repotting. Have you made the oversized pot mistake before? What did you learn from it? And if you appreciate this kind of practical, body-friendly approach to growing, consider subscribing to join our community of smart gardeners. We'll be right back here next week with more ways to keep your plants healthy and your joints happy. Take care of yourselves and take care of your gardens.